Hey guys, so I've been trying to record this video for a while now. Just been really hard, but now that I'm at a better place in my life, and now that my son is healthy, getting sick here and there, but not as sick as he was before, I feel a little bit more confident and a little bit more better with talking about this. I know you guys don't know much about me, and I know you guys know that my health hasn't been the best, and I kind of pushed away from YouTube for a little bit because of the same reason, and I just wasn't at a perfect position in my life. It was really difficult. The recovery was really hard, still is hard, but this video I really want to talk about my son, basically how he came into this world. A lot of pregnancies are easier than others. Unfortunately, my pregnancy wasn't as easy, and I didn't really get to enjoy my pregnancy. I've always had this big illusion of being pregnant and being a mother. A lot of people don't know this, but my son was planned, as crazy as that sounds. We were just fine with having a baby, you know. And I guess as being young parents, you don't really realize and understand what comes with it. You know, it is beautiful. At the end of the day, I have more lifetime with my son than an older person, and you know, it's everybody's choices, and that's okay. I just know that teen mothers get judged so much, but at the end of the day, we enjoy our kids. You just have to live your life with no regrets. That's just the case. I don't regret my son. I love my son, and it was definitely a hard pregnancy. Ever since the beginning, at my 18 weeks, my sister was hospitalized at the time. I have to make one point clear. I've always been sick. Hospital has always been part of my life. Since I was born, basically. Like, I was a premature baby. I was always sick. I remember being diagnosed with asthma at 8. And being a child, it's hard because you want to go run around, you want to play sports. My asthma wasn't really that bad. This comes along with my medical history. I'm getting short out of breath now. It's never been as bad as it got to when I was pregnant. The day before I was hospitalized and admitted, I was cleaning the whole house. I didn't really think much of it. I was having a hard time breathing already. It wasn't really in my mind, or was it my concern, because again, my asthma wasn't so severe. Just using chemicals and, you know, cleaning products and just stuff like that. The reason that I was cleaning was because I knew my sister was coming home soon. That night, I remember that my boyfriend was with me. My boyfriend at the time, he's my fiance now. I was just so exhausted. I was so tired. I was having trouble breathing, and I just slept it off. And then the next day I went to go visit my sister, and I explained everything to my mom, everything that was going on. And she was like, why have you been waiting this long? Like, you have to not only think about yourself, you need to think about your child too. We didn't know the gender, obviously, so my mom came with me. We went to the emergency room. It ended up being that I was really tight. It was really that bad that I couldn't even hear myself. Like, for my only feeling was I can't breathe. Like, it got to the point where I wasn't really even wheezing. My lungs were just so tight that there was literally like no air coming in or out. That's why I was having trouble breathing, and they just started giving me albuterol and albuterol. Just nothing worked, so I ended up being admitted. So just think about how hard that is, having my sister hospitalized and me hospitalized while I'm pregnant. Like, it was so hard for me, for my mom. Like, I can't even imagine how hard it must have been for my mother. I was hospitalized for 2 months and like 2 weeks. For about 2 weeks after I got hospitalized, my sister came out of the hospital. A bit easier when my mom was there, since she could just, you know, go room to room, because we were both in the ICUs. And then at one point my sister was at the 5th floor, which was like, you know, kids that were fine, you know, they're not as sick and they're almost more to the step of going home. 2 days after I got admitted, it got really bad, and I was so thankful that it happened in the hospital. And I just remember my mom was there, my aunt was there, and I was just crying because I couldn't breathe. My oxygen level, my heart was just going up and down, and it's just, I didn't feel myself. I was scared for my son. Excuse the kids, they're outside playing. I was just so scared. I remember, I think, calling or texting my boyfriend saying that something was wrong. They were already coming, and you know, they had me with balloons and with the bear, and just my mother-in-law was with him. And I remember calling my dad like, I don't know what's wrong, I feel like I'm dying. And I just couldn't breathe anymore, and I just felt like I was slowly drifting apart, if that makes sense. I just felt so tired out of nowhere, and I felt like I wanted to just sleep. My dad kind of got there really quickly, and I don't remember or not, I think he even lost his job because of that, because he just left. But it was a hard time. I remember the doctors saying like, don't go to sleep. I remember them calling code blue. I remember just the voices, and the voices are constantly in my head. Really hard. And there was just this how do you say it, where they have like, I'll just insert it here. They had that, and then they had this big machine, and then they were ready to you know, put a tube in if I was, because I really couldn't feel like I could breathe for myself. They put me on a VPAP. A VPAP is basically not life support, but it helped me breathe basically. It was really hard. It was like strong oxygen like throwing at your face. After that, my breathing kind of calmed down, and just my numbers came back up, and you know, I was with that for about 2 to 3 weeks. I don't remember how long, but it was around that period. So it did get really bad, and it never really got better. It was really hard. At the time, there was no problems with my pregnancy. It was just all me. All your organs kind of push up when you're pregnant. So it was hard. Long story short, I got out of the hospital after that. I was still in nebulizers and medication, and I don't recall if at that time I was taking prednisone. I don't remember. And let alone the fact that that whole time while I was admitted, I didn't really eat much. That whole time was just like IV fluids and this yellow bag thing, you know, like to put iron and to put like all the stuff that you basically put in your body when you're eating. But I did go home, but I was only home for like about 3 weeks basically. I got admitted again. Out of the hospital, I was probably like 25 weeks, maybe even 28, like I'm not sure, around there. I was home for a little bit, but then again, I wasn't enjoying my pregnancy because I was having trouble breathing. I was in bed rest. I couldn't go out. It was just hard. It was hard. It was so hard. I remember just crying myself all the time, saying how hard everything was. At 32 weeks, I ended up in the hospital again because my water had broken. and I was having a lot of back pain the day before that, but that's just all the pain I was having. An appointment, and I explained to the doctor that what was going on, and then I was at a high-risk clinic, and the high-risk clinic was in the hospital. I was at the clinic, I was explaining everything to her. I remember that there was this lady that was having twins, and she was getting sent up because she was in labor already, and I remember telling my mom, like, that's gonna be me. The doctor was like, oh, you're having breaths and kicks, that your body's getting ready to have the baby, and just that's why you're having pain. So as soon as the doctor got out of the room, I just, like, water just starts running down my pants, and what a coincidence, you know? I remember calling my mom, like, Mom, I think I just peed on myself. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened. Call the doctor, because the doctor wasn't with me. So then the doctor walks in, and she was like, oh, yeah, your water broke. You're having a baby soon. Or today, I think she said. I was so scared out of my mind. I'm like, is this what labor is like? Like, I don't feel any type of pain. Like, my back just hurts. So they sent me up. I remember right away I texted my boyfriend, because my boyfriend was at school, saying that I was in labor and that my water just broke and that they're sending me up and everything. And he was calling his mom and just like, Mom, pick me up, my girlfriend's in labor and I need to go, and like calling her like every 2 minutes, are you coming, are you coming? He was really excited, actually. It's nice that his mom kind of tells me the stories of his reaction and how happy he was. I went up, and the baby didn't weigh that much. She was about 1 pound to 2 pounds, and then the doctor was like, okay, if your baby's born right now, I'm not sure if he's gonna tolerate it. I don't know if he's okay to come out. So they basically stopped the contractions based on his weight. For a whole week, they injected my legs with, I'm not sure what medication, but they just explained to me that that was gonna help the baby's lungs and help him breathe on his own when he was born. So he was born at 34 weeks. My contractions kind of went up again, and he was already in distress at the time. His heart kept dropping every time I had a contraction. So they just decided to, okay, let's just let him come. He wants to come. He was about 3 pounds. He was like, now he's a little bit more stronger, especially with the medication that we gave you. Labor wasn't pretty bad. I was in labor for about 6 to 8 hours. You know, the pushing part really wasn't that hard on me. They did have my pulmonologist aside of me, and just a cardiologist, and just a lot of doctors like everywhere, especially because he was premature. There is something that happened during labor that wasn't right and that wasn't okay, but I'll explain that in a separate video. You guys will just have to wait on that. Like 3 pushes, he was just out. Remember, it was just the best, amazing time of my life, and I wasn't even sure if I was having a baby like that day, because I remember telling my boyfriend, I'm like, it's okay, you could go to school. Like, I don't think I'm going, you know, to actual labor anytime soon. I think it's just gonna be later in the afternoon or in the night, you know. I've heard stories that labor takes a long time. In the middle of the night, I'm like, babe, you're not going to school tomorrow. Like, I think we're gonna have the baby anytime soon. Like, I cannot stand this pain. Like, I was just saying, text your mom, tell her you're not going to school, tell her that we might have a baby soon. And he did stay home, and what was the coincidence that he was born about 8 in the morning. Everything went real smooth during labor. It wasn't hard for me to push. Everything was easy, and that's what I was praying to God, that it wasn't as hard. They did put me like medication to soften my cervix, make it a little bit easier for the baby, because he was in distress. We're kind of holding off on a C-section, and he was 3 pounds and 13 ounces. He was really, really small. He was about this small. He was in a NICU for about 2 months, but again, I think that's like a whole separate video because it's pretty long and I don't want to include all of it in just one video. But yeah, that's basically my pregnancy. That's my labor story. I basically just wanted to open up to you guys a little bit more and explain more of my story and more of my son's story, you know, how he came into this world. Enjoy this video, and until next time, bye. Can you come say bye? I'm gonna go take him a bath so he doesn't have any clothes.
Huh?
You wanna come say bye?
Bye.
Come here. My camera is about to die.
Bye.
Say bye.
Bye. Ah ha ha.